the eyelid so that when you do the mascara, the product touches your finger, or rather your nail, and not necessarily the eyelid. Because a lot of the times you wear mascara and then inashika eyelid and then you've done this beautiful look and you're wondering how do you clean it up. So it's very simple. Again, move to the next part, close to the lash line as possible, lift and wiggle. So that you deposit as much product as possible. Move, outer corner, lift and wiggle. NW, she's an NW44. Remember when I talked about in terms of how we name our product? So she's got a warm undertone. When it comes to M.A.C products, the higher the number, the darker the complexion. So if you look at NW44 and NW50, and NW50 is darker because it's a higher number. So yeah, so I'll just go straight ahead and apply some of this product. I'm going to use the back of my hand. So I'm using Studio Fix, like I said, it's a matte, it'll give you a matte finish. It's medium to full coverage. What does that mean? That at the first application, you'll get medium coverage, but it's buildable. So if you're interested in building and getting a lot more fuller coverage, then it has the ability to do exactly that. And then brush, right? So I always use a bigger brush when I'm applying foundation because I'm covering a larger surface area. And then when I'm applying concealer, then I'll use a slightly smaller brush because I really want to localize the application. So like I said, I always start little and then I build up the look as I go, especially depending on the coverage and whether or not I'm happy with the kind of coverage I'm getting. Now, for you to be able to get most of the coverage, you can see in terms of my brush movement, right? So I'm literally pushing the product into the skin. Just go straight. Just because and then you want to start your application smack right in the middle of the face. Why do you think that is? Why do you think it's important to start up your foundation application from here?
I think so that you get less product on the brush towards the ends of the face so that you don't have like a mask.
Correct. Yeah. Most of the times you actually just need coverage here. You don't need makeup here on the sides. Like who's seeing the bridge of your face, okay? Even when I'm looking at you and I'm speaking to you, I'm seeing this is like your fore face, right? That's what I'm really seeing. So that's why you definitely want to start your makeup application. So have most of the coverage right in the middle, and then whatever's left on your brush, you diffuse it as it goes outward. And it's the same even on the forehead, right? I never push product all the way to the hairline. Again, it's just for the same reasons. You don't need foundation there. So once you're done with your foundation, when you're setting your makeup, you can take whatever product that's left on your powder brush and then now sort of blend it everywhere else.
Yes. Mm-hmm. But what if you've got pigmentation? Mm-hmm. So it's a little darker at the top going into the hairline. What happens with that?
That's a good question. So you want to get and that's not a bad thing. If you don't want to get a powder, because especially our powders, right, like they last really long. You could also get a concealer. So something in like a little bottle like this. So a shade or two darker, or actually you get shade matched on your forehead, so you go slightly darker. And then this it comes, because it's small, you're only using it in a very small area, so it'll also give you longevity in terms of that. So if you prefer liquid products, you can use liquid or cream, you can use a concealer. If you prefer powder, then you can get a slightly darker powder, a shade or two, even 3 is fine. Yeah. And it could act as your contour. Yeah, your contour product. So like I said, I prefer to layer. So whatever it is I feel like I want a lot more coverage, that's where I'm going to add the product. So do you always start with foundation and then concealer, or do you do concealer and then foundation? Foundation and concealer. Tones. So you've got deep, you've got dark deep, you've got dark deepest. Of course, if you're a professional makeup artist, you want to have at least one of those because you're going to meet people with different skin tones. And the reason why I'm saying this is a must-have is, a few colors, right? You've got an ochre color. What do you use this color for? It's a corrector, correct. So this corrects what? The red, the warmish one. Dark, right? And the yellow one, you use it to correct what? Purple, right? So if you veiny, so you can actually see the greenness of the vein. So green and purple, you correct with that. You can mix them, you can mix the two to sort of like get a little bit of a neutral color. But yellow corrects purple and then the orange corrects the darkness. So if you've got any darkness, and the reason they come in different shades is also like the depth of the color. So this ochre is not as deep as that, so it depends on the complexion of the person. So for more fairer, lighter shades, then you want to go with this, and then for more deeper skin tones, then you want to go with something like that. Concealer, because her what is it called? The sides of her mouth there, she's a little bit dark around her chin area as well. So that when I lay my foundation there, she's got a perfectly even skin tone. Just to correct that as well. And then in terms of textures, these come in different textures. At M.A.C, we only have a cream one, but if you don't have this and you have some of these colors, probably in another brand, that's absolutely okay. Because I know you can definitely find these colors in more of a liquid consistency. So if that's what you prefer, that's actually absolutely fine. So I'll go over with my foundation, and you will see the difference in a complexion. So I changed my brush, and now I'm using a slightly smaller brush. Why? Because this area is where I want to deposit some of that product. I don't need it everywhere else on my face. So again, I'm also using dabbing lotion, and then whatever's left on my brush, I'll bring it down just so that I can blend it easily. Another thing is, when you're putting, or rather when you're applying contour, please make sure that you go all the way to the ear, right? We see contours that end over here, and then maybe you've got like the lightest of scalps, and then you've got that NW58 that's ending there, and then we can see how beautifully yellow the rest of your skin is. So when you're doing contour, I even bring it all the way to the ear, like that at the top there, just to give it that seamless continuity, and then you don't have weird lines on your face. And then the powder that I'm setting with, this is a mineral powder. So in terms of the coverage, it's completely sheer. It's got very natural coverage. Again, that's also really important. I see people setting with Studio Fix. This is a powder foundation, right? The same way you've got Studio Fix in liquid, this is a foundation only in powder. We've got another range that is foundation that comes as a cream consistency. So when you do Studio Fix, which is like medium to full foundation, then you set it with Studio Fix powder, you're applying foundation on top of foundation. So it might end up being a lot of product, but again, if your client really wants like a full coverage, you're going for that baking kind of look, that's absolutely okay. Again, it depends on how light-handed you are with your hand. I can use this product to achieve sheer coverage, and I can use the same product to achieve full coverage. It just depends on how much product I pick on my brush and how light-handed I am when it comes to the application. This is a multifunctional product. So Caviar, it's a liquid lipstick. Let me show you. Let's use these irregular products today. So you want to comb your brows upward like that. And the reason for that is you get, number one, the perfect shape of the brow. You're able to really see the shape. And then number two, you're also able to see the gaps. So if I do that, I don't know where I need to fill in. But if I do that, number one, I can see the shape perfectly. The second thing I can do is I can see some of those gaps. So I know this is where I need to fill in with a little bit of that product. So the first thing that you want to do is, if you have a flat brush or if you have an angled brush, depending on the brush that you have. So this is a liner brush. You can see it's really flat, right? And then it's extremely thin. Is it tapered? No, it's not tapered. So either that or an angled brush, whichever you find easier. For most people, angled, because it's already angled, so you don't really need to think too hard about adding the strokes of hair. This one is flatter, so of course your artistry and the technique and how you hold it comes to play a lot. So I'll put at the back of my hand. I always work with the back of my hand. Another thing, even for you, you don't want to use the, the wands of the product directly, right? Even with lipstick. So try as much as possible. Either you pick it with a brush or you put it at the back of your hand. Ensure that you deposit enough product, because we makeup artists, right? We're using our products on a lot of people, and so you don't want to be spreading diseases or contracting them. So either of the brushes will do. I'll use an angle brush. So what I do is you press onto the product and make sure that you have like a really slim and sharp tip. Oh, it actually looks like a line. Another thing is, I find this style of doing brows is you don't really need to get stressed, especially if you get a client who hasn't threaded their brows, right? So they've got all this excess hair, so they haven't tweezed or they haven't threaded. This is a really nice technique to use because it gives you like a very fluffy brow, and fluffy brows are also very much in trend. If you want to make it a little bit more structured, it's absolutely okay. What you do is you'll just take your brush. I'll just go to the top of the brow and I'll literally just structure it the way that I want. So I clean out all the excess.
Actually, the concealer when you're doing up.
So when I'm cleaning out my brow at the top, I like to use a foundation, the same color as the foundation, because when you use a concealer, you can even make it a little bit more structured there, right? And then I'll here. And I can really reshape it with that concealer. And whatever's left on the brush, I sort of blend it out. And the concealer brush that I have. So I prefer to use this particular concealer because it dries matte. So once it's dry, and it dries quite quickly, is that the product will not move at all. To set my dark the base. Okay, so I just come there. A lot of the times I will dab and push the product into the skin. This gives me all the coverage that I need, and then whatever's left on the brush is now what I blend out with. Also, you don't need to deal with fallout if you're going to use caviar. So you see that? I already have my black. It's literally, it didn't even take me a minute. So I'll do the same on the other eye. This is carbon. And then I don't have to get too stressed about now playing that foundation. So I've already even done this. I'm so used to doing it, right? So you pick product, and you can pick as much as you want, right? And then always dab off the excess onto it. So that even when I come and I do that, there is literally no fallout, none at all. And it's intense, it's black how we want it. Turn that way. Do the same there. A good product to go to. So I start with where the black is, and then I blend it out so that we can have a very diffused look.
Do you need to lift the eye when you do that? Do you need to
No. Because you do that, you place the product there, and then when you let it go, it goes back and covers. So work with what you can see. That's so a lot of the times you see, personally, even when I'm right, there are no hash lines right there. So you see black, and then the black sort of like diffuses into like a very natural crease color. So there again. So place, lift, and wiggle. Place, lift, and wiggle. Place, lift, and wiggle. Place. So if you don't have lashes, this mascara is everything, right? And then I'll just do the same. So remember what I said about the blow dry, so you can do that. So you place, and because it's thin, you can really get to the roots and then pull out. Right? And then place all the way to the lash line, wiggle so that it gets a grip, and roll it out. Come as close as possible and just wiggle the lashes. And all that product on the tip will be deposited on the lashes. And I'll do the same on this other side. I still have products. If you want to layer, give it a minute for the product to dry down a little bit, and then you can just always go and add on. Right. And then last but not least, that, dab it on the lip and get a little bit of color. I'll take my brush and make sure that I blend that out really well. And then I'll finish it off with clear lip gloss. don't have blush, I'd use the same. Turn that way. So I'll place and then because it's cream, if you want to set it, you can always set it with your transparent finishing powder, because remember it doesn't have any color on it. It's just completely transparent. And then I'll do the same on this other side as well. And so a perfect multitasker. Color corrector, you can use it on the lip and you can use it as blush. Clear lip gloss, this is just, if you want a glossy eye, you can add lip gloss. If you want to manipulate your products, maybe you've got a color that your client or you really like, but you'd like to wear it as a gloss, and probably it's matte, you just do the color and then top it up with this clear lip gloss. It's a bit sticky, it's high shine, it's not reflective, it's glass-like, and so it will last for a very, very long time on your lip. And it's best for the club, that's true. You can also use it as a highlighter. So instead, if you don't have a highlighter for your cheeks, you can use it on the cheeks, and especially if you're out in the club and the light catches that, because it's really like glass, it looks absolutely beautiful. And it photographs really well as well.
So because you said it's like sticky, how do you place it on top of your makeup after maybe you've done your powder?
That's a really good question. Very, very little. So don't wait, like don't put too much, because if you put too much it pulls, right?
Yeah.
So I would say pick a little bit, spread it like on your finger, on somewhere on a surface, probably best to use your palm or your hand or whatever, and then whatever's left is now what you put on that particular area. If you know that you're going to use clear lip gloss also, maybe don't put powder around that area. So when you're powdering down your face, make sure that if you're going to put lip gloss there, then don't put any powder. Yeah.
For the face glass, can you use it for like on oily skin, or is there a way you can manipulate it so that it doesn't like what you're setting?
That's a very good question, because now we have Fix Plus Stay Over. So the difference between this one and that is that this one has, what's that product? Mica. It has a little bit of mica in it, that's why it makes it stick, right? So it's you should try it, by the way, it's a wonderful, wonderful product. It will still give you a glow, but it's going to make your makeup non-transferable. So if you're talking about shine, then maybe you want to use the Fix Plus Matte, because now we've got a whole family of Fix Plus. It comes with cousins, grandmothers, great-grandchildren, and one of those is the Fix Plus Matte. So if you want to go like for a full-on matte finish, then you can use that. Yeah.
Would you recommend the Stay Over for like brides?
Yes, I would. Yeah. If you want to use both, I would say start with the Stay Over so that it sticks, and then you can use the matte very localized on specific areas that they want to stay completely dry.
What's the name of the mascara? Just
Extended Play Giga Black Lash. This one. Extended Play. Yeah.
The Palm Me Up does it, they're different.
The difference between this and Palm Me Up is that Palm Me Up, the wand has a curl. I would recommend it for someone with very long lashes, right? Because that story, you would need a surface area for it to grasp like that. So if you've got long lashes but you're looking for only definition, that's a really wonderful mascara to use.
Based on your experience, because artists usually mix their kits. Like
Yeah.
you never have one brand of products. What's the one category of products or one product that you'd never skip on? Like you can mix everything else, but this one thing you always invest in. That sets your makeup aside.
That's a
From other-
really good question. Yeah. Fix Plus and Clear Lip Gloss.
Wait. What's
Plus, I can manipulate any foundation that I have. So if say a client really wanted to have that sort of like satin kind of finish, and I didn't have Prolong Wear Nourishing, if I mix this with Studio Fix, it gives me that. So I can manipulate any kind of product, any foundation with this. I can manipulate powder with this. I can manipulate eyeshadow with this. I can create liners with this. I can literally do anything and everything with Fix Plus. So that's why it's a must-have.
My Fix Plus.
Yes, buy Fix Plus today. Yeah. I think also this. Please watch as magic unfolds right in front of you. It takes away the shine immediately. She's completely matte. So this is also another product that I always have in. Make their skin matte. The beauty about it is that you can use it before and after makeup. So even if they experience the shine after you've done everything and you've set it, just you can use your finger or you can use a brush as well. A little goes a long way, because let me show you. You see how that's the part. You see how dry it is. That's how it looks. So if you put a lot, then it dries whitish. So you just want to use very, very little, and that's how matte it makes the skin. So again, another favorite product that I always have to have in my kit. Coming today, it was fun. I hope I have been able to share a lot of tips, a lot of tricks. Thank you for engaging me and for asking all the questions. I feel very empty. I came in with a full camp. Hata ile imebaki yezi enda dunda. Tunaenda straight home. Yes. Please.